Off the self-titled album Steele on CHIP-FM, I'm Steele. And you're listening to CHIP-FM. In the studio with us right now, just drove in from Belleville, taking in the sights apparently for the last couple hours. Welcome to the show. We have Steele on.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming in today. You've been touring radio stations in Canada, but you're out of Nashville, Canadian that's working there right now. I guess that's where you had your CD produced.
We did it in the Sound Kitchen in Nashville, Tennessee with Kent Wells, who is Dolly Parton's producer. And she was actually recording her new album at the same time I was. So we got to hang out a bit and got to meet Dolly. And
awesome.
It's out to it's doing really well on U.S. radio. And being a Canadian, I came back and released it with Deborah Wood.
Wow. Yeah, and, Debbie's awesome.
Debbie's awesome for Canadian talent for radio. She's a lot of respect.
So you found the place okay? You had the GPS system guide you here? Or?
You know, I got a TomTom, and the thing's, it's not very reliable, man. I always end up a kilometer in the distance, but radio stations are pretty easy to find because everybody knows where they're at in town. So
you got to town early, and I could tell by looking at your press kit online that you work out, and apparently that's what you did to pass the time before you came here?
Yeah, I got here around 2, and then I went over to Pembroke, Ontario, and hit a gym there while I was waiting.
Do you find it a good getaway from the normal affairs in life?
Oh, yeah. The gym is actually where I relax.
Okay.
For me. And I'm usually in there twice a day, in the morning and night.
You started life as a fisherman in Nova Scotia?
Nova Scotia, commercial fisherman. My dad and brother are fishermen. And then when I turned 18, me and my dad made a mutual agreement that we were too much alike and one of us would have ended up overboard. So,
oh, no.
So I opened a seafood restaurant, which I've had since I've been 18. And I've worked that and built it up to what it is today, which is a 150-seat 5-star seafood restaurant in the East Coast. And it's allowed me to semi-retire from that and go to Nashville and do the things I need to do, paying for it myself instead of relying on someone else.
So don't have to wait for some record label to sign you or whatever. You're self-sufficient.
Independent.
Yes.
I own everything. And
you write your own songs as well. You don't even have to pay royalties on that.
Yeah, write all my own stuff. I have co-written some great tunes on this album with some big writers in Nashville.
Is this your first album? I would imagine so, being self-titled?
That's my first Steele album.
Okay.
I was an artist before, which is on the down low, but I had 4 albums. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But this is a whole new alter ego, super image, marketing ploy.
You had a song that the UN adopted about 10 years ago?
Yeah, I wrote the theme song for the United Nations International Year of the Volunteer.
Okay.
Yeah, and I actually I recorded it in English and French, and it did really well. I got to fly over to Bonn, Germany, and meet the Secretary General, and played a private concert in Beethoven's church. Got to play his piano, and that was pretty cool.
You're bilingual?
I had it translated.
Okay.
Petit peu.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd like our time is limited. You said you'd like to do a couple of songs for us live here, so I'll let you get to the first song. What do you got for us?
This song's called "Do You Really Have to Go," and I co-wrote this song with Karen Steele out of Nashville, who wrote "Let's Go to Vegas" with Faith Hill, and "Keeper of the Stars" by Tracy Byrd, a couple big hits by Reba. And we really clicked, and we actually wrote 3 tunes on the album together.
All right. This is Steele on CHIP-FM.
Last night with you was so beautiful. You whispered that you felt it too. Once again I feel just like a fool, 'cause now you're getting dressed back to him, I guess, and leaving my mind a mess. Do you really have to go? you have to leave me standing, watching your taillights in the dark? Do you really have to go? Do you really have to go and break my heart? You say you're torn and so confused. I thought my love would make you mine, but now the time has come. Yeah, you gotta choose, yeah. So put down those keys, I'm getting on my knees. Come on, baby, please. Do you really have to go? Do you have to leave me standing, watching your taillights in the dark? Do you really have to go? Do you really have to go and break my heart? The thought of him holding you, I'm done with what this puts me through, yeah. If you love me like you say you do, do you really have to go? Do you have to leave me standing, watching your taillights in the dark? Do you really have to go? Do you really have to go and break my heart? Do you really have to go and break my heart? And break my heart.
That was incredible. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for that. This is Steele on CHIP-FM, folks, and he's here to promote his brand new album, self-titled, called Steele, and singing a few tunes for us. Thank you very much. Tell us about the process of putting the album together. Do you have? I would imagine you probably have more songs written than what made the final cut on this album. How did the selection process work for you?
You know, I probably have 15 albums written. And I keep writing. Like, when I'm driving, something pops in my head, I pull over. I got my phone. And my little notepad on my phone, and I'm just always going. And then I get home, I get back off the road. So what I do to unwind is write a tune.
Okay, and you said you do it digitally. You're not pen and paper kind of guy.
Oh no, I do. I started on the phone.
Okay.
Get like the first verse, or I get a chorus, and then I'm like, okay, and because you got to get it down. You got to get it out of your head and down, or you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna remember that later.
Yeah.
The hard drive is so full upstairs, really. She needs to be debugged.
So, do you have a big summer planned?
Touring, actually.
Yeah.
Radio touring.
Okay.
I'm doing Canada, and I should finish Canada probably the 1st of June, and then I head back to Nashville, and I go out on a 80-station radio tour across the southern United States.
Oh, wow.
Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, the United States of Texas, Georgia.
Do you like the legwork? Is it a good opportunity to see the country and that kind of thing?
It's a great opportunity to see the country, but it's a great opportunity and a great chance to meet the person playing your music. So they get to know you. They get a bit. In the half hour we get together, or an hour, and you get to know them. And that's a very important relationship to develop, because when the next single comes out, you'd be like, I know. Right now, I'm doing the Canadian tour, and the single's being played on quite a few stations that I haven't got to yet, and it's been picked up. So that's a great thing. So when I go in and meet, the program director, I meet the host of the show, And then they get to know me, and, if there's a connection, then when the next thing comes out, it'll be like, hey, it's Steele. Yeah,
no
let's have a
problem.
listen to it, right?
Easy.
Yeah. And so that Debbie doesn't have to work so hard.
No. Well, I usually trust what Debbie sends me. She has a nice collection of artists that she promotes, and I've never had to reject anything so far.
Right.
So, but it's incredible the amount of talent that's unsigned.
Yeah.
It's,
but I think that's that's the wave of the future. It really is. I mean, I think the big dogs, they're not going to be in it for very much longer.
No.
Everyone's kind of going indie.
Yeah.
Even Taylor, Rascal, they're all gone indie. Jason Aldean's indie. They're not giant. Well, they are giant labels because they've made them a giant pile of money. But Broken Bow and Stony Creek and just to name, there's tons of tiny little labels that pick up a good artist and.
All right. So you run a restaurant business on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
You just finished recording an album. You're currently touring.
Mm-hmm.
You're also you seem to have a pretty good presence online as well. Do you find yourself on Facebook and
I do.
other
I
things as
have
well?
to admit I've been slacking since I went on
Okay.
radio tour, which Debbie's probably not happy about.
No.
Because it is about social media, and my Facebook is facebook.com/This Is Steele. My website is thisissteele.com. Twitter, twitter.com This Is Steele. That's all. This Is Steele.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You got another song lined up for
Yeah,
us?
sure I do.
All right. While he tunes, I'll just say that you're listening to Steele on CHIP-FM.
I'm pulling petals one at a time from a daisy. She loves me not, I'm going crazy. Clock on the wall shows the hours as they pass. Your pillow's cold, where so much love was made. Still smell your perfume, but it's starting to fade. You're gone for good and you ain't coming back. I'm holding on to hope. I'm holding on to hope. That photograph on the table by our bed, I stare at it every night, remembering what you said. We both look so happy on that day. That empty closet looks just like my heart, the room so quiet. As I lie here in the dark, that picture hasn't changed, but life has outside the frame. I'm holding on to hope. I'm holding on to hope. I wish you could see me now. I've learned and I've grown. You said this was something I had to sort out on my own. It would take a miracle to bring you back to me. I'm not gonna give up, 'cause deep down I still believe. That's why I'm holding on to hope. I'm holding on to hope. I'm holding on to hope.
Another incredible song. Thank you very much. Now, you're doing these songs acoustically, a lot different than what people would find if when they listen to the CD. Do you find yourself comfortable in both situations, on your own or in a band?
I like on my own.
On your own?
Yeah. It's a bit more intimate, and then, people can people can see that you can actually do it, and it's not all smoke and mirrors, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when you're at a gig, you're more on a one-on-one kind of basis?
No, not with the tunes on the album. They're pretty rock, and they're pretty southern country R&B mix.
Okay.
And it's a full band. But I like doing the radio stuff to come in. And when I play live, I do all my piano stuff. I play the piano, and that's usually just me on the piano.
You speak about the songs. I looked at the liner of the album, and all the lyrics are included with the songs. I know it might not be a big thing, but not all artists do that. And whenever I buy an album, that's one of the things I appreciate the most is opening up the notes and seeing the lyrics.
Are there.
Seeing the lyrics.
Well, most of the guys who don't put them in don't write the songs.
Oh,
so.
that's why.
Right.
All right. No, okay. I'll go to bed a little
and
less.
they kind of don't want people to know that. Right?
All right. So I guess they would need some sort of more extra permission to reproduce.
Oh, no. But it's just when you publish a song with the lyrics, you have to say written by.
Okay.
So if the whole album is written by or written bys,
yeah.
They might.
Well, I do admire you writing your own lyrics. It's definitely something that a lot of people appreciate, and I can imagine maybe not as easy for someone, a new singer, as that's trying to get into the business. But you've been plugging away at this for some time now. It's you didn't seem to. You don't want to. You're not in a rush to get famous. You just want to do your thing and let it evolve naturally
and
right?
grow, just like my business. And that's what it is. It's a business, and I'll get there. All the great ones do. Garth Brooks, he built his business. Keith Urban, he's 10 years at it to where he is today. All the greats, Winona and Dolly Parton and. They did this. Yeah. They radio toured. They beat the road. And I want it to be real, and I want to work for it. Yeah. I've always worked for everything I've had. I was taught that by my dad as a fisherman, very young. You're never gonna get nothing from nobody. You're gonna work for it yourself. And I believe that, and you'll be rewarded. You work a heck of a lot harder than some people, but it's self-rewarding.
Have you ever written any? I don't want to say sea shanties, being a fisherman or anything, but anything inspired by your past on the East Coast in the fish industry, fishing?
No, I haven't really.
Where do you find your inspirations for your music?
In life.
And
traveling and meeting people and situations. And when I sit and write a tune, I don't do it intentionally, but. When I write a tune, it's usually 45 minutes and it's done, the music and the lyrics. And if it takes any longer than that, if I was at it, an hour and a half, I'm like, okay, the heart's out of it. Now I'm starting to think about it.
Oh, okay.
This rhymes with that, and it's almost predictable when you hear it on the radio what the next line's going to be because you copped out and, used Rhyme Zone on the internet, which I don't do, right? There's so many writers in Nashville like, hold on, I'll go on Rhyme Zone. I'm like, that's cheesy, man. You're not thinking or feeling it, right?
Yeah, okay.
It's just convenience. And mine is, most of my tunes, when I hear them back and when other people hear them, it's like, you can relate to that in some way. Or somebody who's gone through that, or, you're going through it yourself, or your sister is, or, that's happened to you in life, right?
What's in the future for Steele? Any maybe concept albums? Like say, you like to write music. Any idea, thoughts of maybe doing a themed album or something?
No, I just keep writing, and then I just we go down and I see Kent and. The producer, and we just pick through the repertoire, and and he goes to town, man.
Okay.
I go in. This is the great thing. I go in with what you just heard live, to Kent, and then when you play, like you played the first tune there, or when you play the single "Private Road," I went in and played that just like this, and all the bands in there, and his band network, you can imagine, is. The fiddle player on my album is Garth Brooks' fiddle player. The bass player is Reba McEntire's. The drummer is Lady Antebellum's drummer. The lead guitar player is Taylor Swift's guitar player. Dolly Parton's piano player.
Cast, yeah.
And so Kent goes in and he's like, okay, you play this, you play this, you play this. And literally in 3 takes, I have the backing track to this song, and then I sing the vocals, and then that's what you get.
It's
unbelievable.
It's
It's
awesome.
like the song gets written again musically by someone who's a master at it.
Give a plug for the album where people can find it.
The album, the single's on iTunes. The album is released July 1st here in Canada.
I have an advanced copy.
You do, and I had brought you some in for some giveaways.
All right, 3 giveaways. We'll take some callers for that a little bit later, but we're going to go out on your single that we just picked up this week. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I wrote this song, Private Road, and I co-wrote it with John Connolly, who's another Canadian artist.
Oh, yes.
And he's out playing lead guitar for Kenny Chesney right now.
He's still playing?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. He's with Kenny, and he's off the road for a week, so we hooked up and got together and hung out. And I had this concept for this tune, and being 2 Canadian boys, any small town in Quebec or Ontario or Nova Scotia or New Brunswick or Manitoba, Saskatchewan, if you're in the country, everybody knows about the private road where people go to, hold hands or snuggle
or whatever.
or whatever. And read their Bibles, whatever. And we just made a fun song out of it. I think it's a good party anthem song. And yeah, it relates to a lot of us here in Canada.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much again for
thank you so
coming
much.
to the
I really
studios.
appreciate your time.
I hope you'll stop again sometime in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be on tour next year, so I'll probably pop in. And
awesome.
Perfect.
Here's Steele from the self-titled album, Steele with Private Road.
There's a party going on by the bonfire light. I can see the flame in your eyes. That heat's burning me alive. We got George Strait cranked up loud. I can barely hear you above the crowd. What do you say we take a country drive?